The West African sub-region, its challenges and prospects as President Tinubu mounts yet another saddle. Speculations on the makeup of the cabinet. Nigerians urge President Tinubu to take competence over every other consideration. Rule of Law Foundation sets agenda for the Nigerian government, advise incoming heads of ministries to make the fight against corruption top of their to-do list. Imo, Bayelsa and Kogi gear up for off-cycle governorship elections in November, and analysts say the race is too close to call in two states. We have this and more on our lineup today. I'm Fisayo Gunfui. Welcome. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu returned from the ordinary session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government in Bissau with an extra feather to his cap. Some might even say an extra load of responsibility considering the prospects and challenges of the sub-region at this time. Here is an overview of his outing in Guinea-Bissau.
A visit for a regional mission, but first on the mind of the Commander-in-Chief was to see the well-being of the Nigerian troops who have left their homes for more than a year to contribute to the peace and stability under threat here.
We are lucky to be the first military personnel that our Commander-in-Chief is visiting outside the shores of Nigeria.
Your Excellency, this is one of the many peace support operations that Your Excellency has granted approval for Nigeria to participate in. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the highest contingent here of 178, Your Excellency.
We are very proud of you. Proud of your commitment, proud of your loyalty, and we will not abandon you at any given time. Nigeria depends on you. Nigeria will show the world that you are responsible and you are focused.
To the main mission, a new man on the block arrives to take his place in the authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Governments. The host president and outgoing chairman of the authority, Umaru Sissoko Embalo, and ECOWAS Commission President, Omar Aliyu Toure, led the way. Welcome. You are the most expected, was the reading of the atmosphere.
I would like, therefore, to welcome President Tinubu to his first meeting of the ECOWAS Authority.
Attentively, the astute politician followed the deliberations around issues of regional integration. Security, economic and financial matters were prominent. But it was all going to end on his table. President Tinubu, on his first appearance, got to the driver's seat of the block. New seats, new nomenclature, and a new vigor for ECOWAS.
We should sound a warning to exploiters. That our people have suffered enough. We must fight back. We can't sit like toothless bulldogs.
Now, Nigerians from all walks of life have been enjoined to close ranks and join hands with President Tinubu to intensify the fight against corruption in the country. Stakeholders in the judicial sector made the plea at a webinar organized by the Rule of Law Foundation.
The topic discussed is a proposal. Can the Tinubu administration succeed without a blueprint?
The Rule of Law Development Foundation and other progressive civil society organizations in Nigeria to mobilize the people to take control of the war against corruption.
If you want to fight this business of corruption, there can be no shortcuts. The media trial is a shortcut. Taking confessional statement is a shortcut. We have to reboot.
Assessing the decisions taken so far by the administration, the key players in the judicial sector said President Tinubu has been hailed, but more constitutional steps should be taken to hold public officers accountable for their stewardship. while urging the Nigerian leader to intensify the fight on corruption through strengthening of institutions.
Was it possible for nepotism, for cronyism, and some of the parties to go unchecked?
Our definition of corruption is people who embezzle money. I think the manufacturing industry for corruption in Nigeria is the lack of organization of our society.
Lamenting how some Nigerians allegedly continue to make the country dry, the key players in the judicial sector canvass the need for assets declared by public officers to be published, and ecological funds disbursed to states should equally be published so that people can ask questions from political office holders when they fail to implement the projects. They commended the investigative process that led to the outcome of the fact-finding of the forgery of JAMB result by Mesoma Joy Ejikeme, saying the outcome was a pointer to the fact that people should not be quick to jump into conclusion and giving such an act ethnic inclination. They lamented that young people who are seen as the future of Nigeria are now immersed in the ill of corruption. It was the key players' firm belief that the development must be checked in the interest of generational equity. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Thank you, Austin. Now, experts say there's a considerable number of issues to be resolved in key sectors of the nation's economy as President Tinubu begins to give assignments to those he will rely on to give these sectors a new lease of life. As if that task is not enough, he has just gotten the votes of his peers to do same at the level of the West African sub-region. Now, we're being joined by Barrister Ibrahim Umar, member APC Initiative for Good Governance. Thank you so much for joining us, Barrister.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully, maybe in the course of this discussion, Professor Ekukbolati Michael, a professor of research and strategic planning, may join us, but is otherwise engaged perhaps in the course of this. But let's start with, my question. Just a day or two shy of 1 month and 2 weeks in the saddle, how has President Tinubu fared so far?
Well, interestingly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed a magic or a miracle, so to speak, because his emergence as the president and commander-in-chief, he has taken a bold step towards ameliorating the hardship of Nigerians, especially the removal of the fuel subsidy, which has been lingering on and on, unabatingly. The moment, on the spot, during his swearing in, he said, fuel subsidy is gone, and we applaud his giant step.
All right, moving on. There have been several, initiatives. Which of them have tickled your fancy? Since you are of the Good Governance Initiative, Congress for Initiative for Good Governance, what are the parameters to ensure, to establish good governance or otherwise? For instance?
Beside the clear-cut separation of responsibility vis-a-vis the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive, the parameters for good governance could be itemized in summary as follows. There should be transparency, inclusiveness, and oneness. And for the government to succeed, these ideals ought to have been put in place. And gladly, the Tinubu administration has already put in place all these parameters in order to execute government policies and programs. And we really applaud the giant stride of the Tinubu administration. And by extension, for the government to achieve, they have to massively go down to this grassroots and fish out some good brains that has similar parameters in the regime.
All right, we'll go there because let's take it one after the other, because the president and your party assured Nigerians that the discomfort being experienced by Nigerians now will just be a thing of the past soon. Nigerians are equally praying that this goes very quickly. In terms of timelines, what are your expectations in terms of this, and so that we get to the promised land in terms of the El Dorado that you promised?
Well, what I can say by extension, you are a living witness in this country that when Tinubu comes on board, and he has introduced a good policy For example, the removal of the double taxation, the introduction of the student loans is a step further to ameliorate the hardship of common man in Nigeria.
All right, let's quickly move on very quickly. Just now you saw those reports. Will adding the ECOWAS chairman role be fortifying or distracting for Nigeria's helmsman, looking at all the things on his table? Also from the sub-region, they have also piled more on his table at this time.
Well, if you can advert your mind to the days of his swearing in, he has made a lot of promises, which by extension, he has put that in practice. For instance, that could replicate on the economy, the economic policy. He has fished out a good brains that will assist him in governance.
All right, okay. So we'll come back to that, especially your your party's promises and initiative for good governance. Issues of corruption will come on very shortly. But let's take a few reports. The progressive ambassadors for APC commended President Tinubu for the milestones recorded so far. The group, however, advocated for the inclusion of an appreciable number of youths and women as the president draws up the lists of his team members.
Opportunity to remind Mr. President on the much expected ministerial appointments and other political appointments, for youth and women inclusion as stated in his manifesto and election promises during the presidential campaigns, for at least 3 cabinet positions for persons under the ages of 40 and 6 more positions for members under the ages of 50, not forgetting the presidential directives in the manifesto of Mr. President, the manifesto of our party.
Okay, so the list is getting close and is being cooked up at the moment. Professor Kokwalati will not be joining us, but Barrister, you are still here. So what are your expectations to the makeup? People are saying that it shouldn't just be about your party, it should also be about competence as well.
Well, that counts very much. And I'm in tune with that dictate. And as you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man of principle, a man of his words. He has attested to Nigerians that, yes, he is equal to the task. And what I will say by extension is that the crop of personalities that he will now bring on board to assist him in governance should be people that have the same ideals with him. The ideals he has is that of what? Transparency, oneness, and inclusiveness. If I may suggest to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that, for instance, in my own sub-region, that is of Northeast zones, there are credible personalities that should be fished out or bring on board to assist him in governance. Why? Because they are people of proven integrity, people of track records that, yes, they can deliver.
Let's look at your zone. It's just coming out gradually, and we're happy about that in terms of the issues of insecurity in the Northeast region. There's a ministry particularly, that is trying to, get things galvanized in that direction. Of course, also supervising other places where there has been internal displacements as well, talking about the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. A lot of people have said in your area that perhaps they want people from that zone to supervise the ministry, as well as also look at all the efforts being put in place that have been put in place by the past administration and make sure that perhaps they are doubled or even tripled.
Well, if I should single out a single person from this zone, I would say the president of one of the most vibrant support groups in Nigeria, that is the APC Initiative for Good Governance, should be chosen.
No, you already were making, your campaigns, but the issues that like I said earlier, Nigerians from all walks of life want to, a government of unity. Perhaps you have even brought your own list as well. But let's quickly move on very quickly. The leadership of the APC has commenced engagement with stakeholders, in the party, talking about chairman of parties, to make sure that there is an interaction in the hierarchy of the party. The latest meeting was between the National Working Committee and state chairman in Abuja.
The 2023 electoral battle was fought and won through the ballot. State chairmen, as leaders of the APC troops in their respective states, are intensifying efforts to ensure an all-inclusive government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But you run the party on a daily basis, and a good blend of understanding between you and the governors and this secretariat and members of the National Working Committee will go more than the ordinary way in enhancing the kind of leadership that we want to have for the party.
This is a moment where rumors and blackmail can thrive. But as a party, there is only one APC. And we came again in solidarity to say we are strongly behind our national chairman and the National Working Committee.
The state chairman promised to sustain useful engagement among members and ensure diligent service as ambassadors of the renewed hope mantra.
Let's take a story from the legislature. Convener of the Coalition of United Opposition Political Parties and Deputy Chairman, House of Representatives, had a committee on media and publicity. Ikenga Ugochinyere says the principal officers of the House of Representatives emerged in accordance with the standing rules of the House of Representatives, which mandates the majority and minority caucuses to select their leaders from amongst them.
To Order 7 Rule 12, it also lays emphasis that even to change this leadership when nominated, that you will require, after due notice to the leadership, simple majority among the members to remove them. So what is the import of this? The power to elect, the power to select, the power to nominate. Under the 2020 amended standing orders of the House of Representatives rests squarely with members of the different caucuses of the parliament, whether majority or minority. And it's on that note that I want to inform you that the nomination, selection, and election of the leadership of the current House of Representatives and that of the Senate was done by members of the National Assembly in accordance with the standing orders of both chambers. And also it's important to understand that politically also, consultation was extensively carried out. And if you remember, both from the PDP end, from the NMPP end, the Labour Party end, and up to the APC end. I remember the leadership visited Kefi to meet with the national chairman of APC in furtherance of that consultation to be able to carry everybody on board. And also in compliance with Order 4, Route 14, those people were elected because they have the cognitive legislative experience as required by those standing orders.
Size of our program on Political Update today. Many thanks to our guests for the day, Barrister Ibrahim Umar, National Director, Legal and Reconciliation Matters, APC Initiative for Good Governance. We'll probably try to bring you back as well because very shortly, in a couple of months, just about 4 months now, we'll be getting the off-cycle elections, governorship elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states, and we'll see how that works. Are the political engagements just for, winning elections? Have you been also sensitizing Nigerians as to what to do in terms of their choices as well? My name is Fisa Ogunfi, thanking you for being a part of this. Of course, very shortly we'll be seeing the makeup of the list, ministerial list as well that Nigerians have been waiting for. We can get that for you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Just keep it locked on NTA for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. And between now and then, play your politics for the greater good. Bye bye now.